I'm mostly skeptical. If you had asked me a week ago, Jason, how do you feel if ICE got 700 agents out of here? I would have said, man, awesome, let's go. I would have been thrilled. And right now, part of me is very concerned that these immigration officers have simply moved out of like sort of the central hot zone of South Minneapolis and some of the neighborhoods of St. Paul. And I know they're out in the suburbs still doing their thing. The mayor of Minneapolis said that 700 officers gone, 2,000 agents still here isn't his idea of de-escalation. Where are you on this? 651-461-9226. Today I know in the suburbs, which is where the ICE operations have really been focused over the last couple of days, Tom Homan comes in and says, like, hey, we're talking to people. That's good. Coming up at 5:20, we're going to talk with the head of the Sheriff's Association in Minnesota, who was part of negotiations with Tom Homan. And I'm going to ask, what are you guys actually doing that's different? Or is this just sort of shuffling things around so everybody can claim a win on this thing? I expected more. I expected more than 700. I would have liked to see half of the agents out of here. David is in his car at 651-461-9226. David, I was hoping for more than 700. I'm not quite sure that this, I guess I don't know what to think about this. Where are you?
Well, I'm fine with it. Obviously, I didn't have any problems with it before with most of the people that I know with the number that's here. But you got to have to think about, agents are going to have to scatter around between all the jails and all the counties. So they're going to have a number to handle that. But you're still going to have some people that are going to have to go out and do stuff, out in the public. And, like before, typically it would take one or two agents to go and take care of something like this. But with all the useful idiots with their whistles everywhere, seems like it's going to take, a half a dozen agents just to keep the peace and protect the rest of the agents and the person that they're trying to get at the same time. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. It's a start, and that's kind of what they said. It's a drawdown, so it doesn't mean it's going to have to all happen at one time.
I mean, we had 130 or so agents stationed in the state before. I'm not abolish ICE. We shouldn't enforce laws. We should enforce laws. And I do like that things appear to be more targeted, but I don't know, there's still no real disclosure as to exactly what they're doing. So I don't know. Are they more targeted, or are they just hiding more of what they're doing? I don't know.
Well, I think it's targeted right now. They're more targeted, and obviously same thing happens. It's kind of like a dragnet. You go out there and you're after one person, and other people get scooped up at the same time.
And that's sort of the deal. I'm not crying about that. You know what I mean? I think if you are here illegally, if you overstayed your welcome or you came here illegally or whatever, part of that deal is, at least the way I always thought about it, is that sort of every day you wonder if you're going to get caught. So that's part of the gamble when you come here illegally. I worry more about sort of the tactics that we saw in the cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, where it's just all of the citizens being grabbed up, all of the people who are in the middle of asylum, just a lot of unconstitutional, brutish nonsense that I guess I'm glad it at least seems that has slowed down, but I don't know.
Well, you got two different people handling it now. Tom Holland's handled it for years, so he's got a handle on things, and he's going to change the tactics. And you had the other guy, Bavino, he's Border Patrol. He's tougher, different situation down there. I mean, they're being shot at by cartel across the border and all kinds of things going on. So, it's a different situation, and they're not trained for crowd control. So I think things will change. and I think it's going to be a big start, but you're still going to have tons of protests going on because there's going to be a ton of people that don't want ICE here at all, period. And they just don't know the law. They just don't know what immigration is. It's been like that for decades, you know.
David, thank you. I appreciate it. I am optimistic about, look, sometimes just changing the person and changing the tone, it's more than just window dressing, in my view. The tone and the tactics was my main objective. And the tactics, the question is, by moving activity out to Columbia Heights, out to Fridley, out to Blaine, out to Maple Grove, are they changing tactics, or are they just out of the view of the most involved activist? I don't know. 651-461-9226. I don't want either side to look at it as wins or losses. Can't we all move in from our sides to a common cause, says a texter. Another texter, how do we know that 700 left? Dan and I were talking about that before. I sure hope somebody is at, do these guys get flown out from Whipple? How does this work? I don't know. How do we know anything? How do we know there really were 3,000 people here? I don't know. Texters at 612 saying it's like 6 lawyers at the bottom of the ocean. It's a good start. Now, I know a lot of good lawyers. How dare you? But I'm also not going to spend. That's a good joke. I'll endorse the joke for sure. 700 out of 3,000 is still now. Some left with Bovino last week. Why can't they tell us how many people are here? Some of this stuff is very simple. We don't know how many people are here. We know that the lawyers are overwhelmed and the Department of Justice attorneys are not complying with orders that are coming from our federal judges. We're going to talk to Paul Bloom later in the show about that because he was in court yesterday when a Department of Justice attorney, somebody who came in here, an ICE attorney who came here to help out, told a judge in open court, this job sucks. This system sucks. I'm like, yes. Yes. Phil's in Woodbury. Our buddy Phil, how's it going?
Jay, thanks for taking my call. I know you're busy. How you doing?
I'm good. What do you think? 700 out, is that a step in the right direction? Is it victory?
It's what they take, but here's the deal. Everybody wants win or over, and you're supposed to say why.
Why?
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Why?
Because everyone's holding signs. Ice out, ice out.
Yeah.
It's just a joke, but you know what? With both parties, though, I don't know what to believe, and that's just me, though. Phil from Woodbury.
Yeah.
See ya.
Thanks, Phil. Phil just drops a joke. Peace out. Drop the mic. I like it. Jay's in Minneapolis.
Hey, brother. Good to get on the CCO airwaves with you. Let's talk turkey.
Let's hear it.
Hey, here's the story. The turkeys have come home to roost. So the thing is we've got to understand how we got here so we don't get here again. See, this is not something that just happened by chance. They were so orchestrated. The borders were open purposefully. And then to expect that nothing would be done is ludicrous. So, shame. Now, to see what took place is ludicrous as well. So there was a really unfortunate overreaction to try to get this cleaned up. But somebody went in and they purposely did this, and shame on them. They opened up the borders. They created a false asylum process, thinking that these people would come in and then be let in and have citizenship. Nobody agreed with that on both sides of the aisle. This was a president that was making up stuff.
Jay, I think you make a good point. I was actually talking about this with a friend today because this state, Minnesota, is a proud state of taking in legitimate people who were, filing for asylum. You look at the Hmong immigration into the United States and all of these people who fought with the United States during wartime and they were escaping true hellish situation. And you could make the case for sure that Somalis, when the churches first started bringing Somalis in, they were leaving a war-torn nation. Well, now you have people coming from Mexico and from Ecuador and from South America claiming asylum. And, most of these cases, when they finally get into the actual system and get their hearing, they're not going to be granted asylum because this is not what we traditionally think of as asylum. So your point in saying, come on in and then we'll sort it out later, I think has been a train wreck. I think it's been a train wreck.
And here's the problem with that. Now they point the fingers and they make the conservatives look like they're the bad people. Really, the bad people were the people that opened the door, that weren't allowed to open the door, that created the havoc, and then they point the fingers at everybody else. And it's really ruthless. It's hard because these people that are from these southern nations, most of them, 90% of them, are amazingly just quality people.
Yeah.
And then you'd like for them to have a better way of life.
That's right.
But
yeah.
let's help them in their own environments. Let's help them to build strong countries where they want to stay there, where they can be successful. And then we want to have a certain amount of immigrants because they're part of the economic engine of our nation, which allows us to grow.
Yes.
So let's do this wisely, and let's not do this politically. This has been a political hack job trying to get people to come in so that the Democrats could own the next decades by having all these people on their side voting for them. That is what has happened.
Thanks, Jay. Appreciate it. I think the Republicans have also weaponized this for their own sense as well, though, by stoking fear, by intentionally choosing chaos, by coming to a city where they knew people were going to be mad that they were here. Instead of going to a quote-unquote target-rich environment, any of the other states, which happen to be Republican states, that have way more undocumented immigrants than we do. So if we're going to be non-political and be legit about it, we got to be legit about the failings and the fact that there are political people on all sides of this that are manipulating this for their own good. Poppy, Kyle, stay on the line. We'll get to you guys. 700 federal agents out, supposedly, as soon as today. Is it a win? Is it not? I'm skeptical. More in a minute here on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, let's talk about Canopy Group, because this weekend we're all going to be watching kind of a big game. And you're going to be inundated with so many home and auto insurance ads. And I want you to listen to those ads really carefully. When you hear somebody say they are on your side, well, I hope they're on your side. I've seen a few things. Yeah, no kidding. And I don't know about this one. You're in good hands. Or the double check. What are we checking? Their work or ours? What, all these ads, what did they do for you? Nothing. It's one company, one agent, no options. Call the Canopy Group. The Canopy Group has a clear message. 16 companies. That's what you get access to with one call. And you get 50 professionals. Now that's who's on your side. As your home and auto insurance needs change over the years, which they will. I've been through it. I got 2 kids that were teenage drivers, and now they're both off at college. The Canopy Group helps you find another insurance company to meet your individual needs. They just do it. No fancy ads, just me telling you my experience. And the simple act of giving you insurance options year in and year out. So call the Canopy Group. It's 800-967-3389. Or go online. You can do it there at thecanopygroup.com.